earlier on, and I say that all the fucking time.
I know that. I thought for sure it was going to come up. The one time you said it during a podcast, I about lost it. So I was like, well, there's no better opportunity. This movie has fucking tiger in the title.
You should have said it then.
I should have, but
you should have.
I should have. What are you doing?
I don't know. I'm asking for the thing that's not going to work.
That's a weird. That's not a good.
It's not a good look.
No, just posing like a sex doll over there.
It's my.
Hey, honey, come in here and check this out.
That's my whole cover band.
Oh. Yeah. Hey, there we are.
Hey, there we are. Look at us. We're online.
I wonder if we're transmitting audio.
I don't know. I should have looked.
What the hell's happening?
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, looks like it.
Yeah.
Looks like it.
Yeah.
We have an excellent connection. We're just early. People aren't going to know what to do.
No, they're still eating their turkey dinners and whatnot. Whatever you do on a Wednesday.
They're eating.
I don't know. What do people do on a Wednesday?
Foil.
I don't know. We do
goose.
this every Wednesday, so I don't know what regular people do. It's weird. Tweet.
What was it last week? Yeah. It's like, I don't know what to do with myself.
Yeah, you broke your sciatic.
Broke my leg.
Broke your Scott Bakula.
Oh, no.
Need a backiotomy.
Doctor says I need a backiotomy.
It's not better yet. I probably need to seek medical attention.
Why don't you go see a doctor about that?
Yeah, because doctors are expensive.
Yeah.
I even have health insurance, and it's still like, am I dying?
I'm not saying it'll cure your sciatic thing, but I now swear by. I got one of those, like, I don't know what the hell they are. Those, like, foam roller things that you're supposed to, like, do stretches and stuff on. God damn, my back is so much better. Hey!
Who's making noises?
Fucking Windows Defender. It's like, hey, I'm still here.
Remember me?
Remember me?
I do stuff.
I updated or something.
You ain't got no viruses.
But no, I swear by that thing for, like, stretching out my back. It's like, oh, my God, my back
Bill's
feels so much
here.
better since I got one of those.
Hi, Bill.
Like, it feels amazing, like, when you just do that. It's like, oh, yeah. All right.
You should get the beads for your car seat.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Put some macrame over the...
Some fur, some, like, tiger fur.
Sheepskin,
Sheepskin.
with the beads. Yeah.
Skin and beads.
boots with the fur.
Exactly.
Beads with the fur.
I don't know if that would help. I haven't found anything that has helped yet, except for drugs and
Heat?
going to sleep.
Have you tried heat?
I've not tried heat yet.
Just because, well, is it a nerve?
I don't know if it's a nerve or if it's just...
Yeah, I just been
A
saying be
word.
careful if sometimes it's heat, sometimes it's cold. Depending on what it is, it will exacerbate the other.
Gotcha.
Just use icy hot. It's both.
It's just menthol, Chuck. It's literally just menthol.
It's right in the name. It's icy and it's hot.
It's what menthol is.
Isn't that what Shaq recommends? Icy hot?
No, he was salon pause.
What?
What?
The what?
Maybe it is icy hot.
My
now, I don't
back's
know.
bothering me. Just spicy hot.
But it's okay.
Is that your Shaq impersonation?
We
It's
can talk about
pretty much
Shaq
like
because
Shaq.
Mackie's not here to make faces at us.
Shacky.
You just
Mackie hates Shacky.
Really deep, dumb voice. It's Shaq. I would talk smack about Shaq now because I'm pretty sure I can
Smacky.
outrun him.
Manny Shaq cop.
3.
Put him in that HBO show. I'm still convinced that's a joke. Like I think they just that they're making a Maniac Cop HBO series.
And you're saying that Nicholas Winding Refn is the guy doing it?
Yes,
basically?
he is.
All right. Sure. Why not? Yeah.
Yeah. I remember it being all the rate, like everyone was talking about it, and then the pandemic hit, and just like that news went silent. And
I wanna just build a studio that like all they do is like set out to make the movies that have been talked about being made for like 10+ years.
Yes.
And just make them. Like I want to make Shane Black's Doc Savage movie. I want to make Black Adam for that matter. Like I feel like we've been hearing about that for a while.
The Rock is saying that's happening now.
Okay, sure.
It's going to be like Jungle Cruise, though. It's going to take 10 years.
Yeah. I wanna go back and like make Supermax, even though it was kind of Arrow season 7, I think. I want to do it like the way it should have been done the first time.
Yeah.
Beverly Nicholas is a winding refin.
And we can just have like this, like one of those anthology movies that's just like every director that was ever going to direct Why the Last Man can do like 10 minutes of it.
Mm-hmm. It'd be fun.
Yeah. I like this idea. Let's do
It's
this.
a good idea. Let's do it. Let's get it done.
We just need like lots of money.
Yeah, that's easy. That's easy.
Hey, how about we do this? Let's just get lots of money and not do that.
And just spend the money?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That sounds
All right.
great.
Okay.
Step 1,
Yeah.
get money.
I'm just eliminating step 2.
Step 2,
Yeah.
not important because we have money now.
Right. Yeah.
Plan over. It's a good play. I like it simple.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Wait, can we still do the pinball warehouse thing?
We do whatever we want. We have money.
Yeah. Just nothing that even remotely resembles work.
No.
Yeah. And I mean.
Oh, okay.
yeah.
So never mind. We're not doing the pinball thing.
No, we can totally do
Yeah,
it.
we'll
We just
just-
don't have to do it.
Yeah, we'll just hire people. Be like, hey,
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
get
It's like,
working
hey,
pinball tables in here.
build us a thing.
Yeah.
Put some things in it.
Yeah. So
Turn it on.
Patreon.com/BMFcast.
Yeah. Please fund our
Yeah.
plan for
our,
cash.
Our sound business plan that we have.
Yep. Step 1, cash.
Gosh.
Step 2.
There is no step 2.
Spend cash on whatever we want because it's cash.
I mean, I could crank out like 5 solo podcasts a week if we made enough money on the Patreon so that I didn't have to work.
Oh, God. I would do so many fucking podcasts if I was not working.
Yeah, I would green screen. I'd be on video. I'd do whatever. Or I'd not be on video. Whatever
Sure.
the people want.
I'd take apart an Xbox with
Yeah.
all my toys and be just like, hey, look at these weird screws. They're weird, ain't they?
There are no weird screws in the Xbox.
Oh, okay.
There aren't? Well,
Nope.
you haven't been on the right channels.
There are no weird fasteners in the Xbox.
Just like and subscribe. No Weird Screws is my channel name. Exploring all the consumer electronics that have normal screws. You need a weird bit? Get the fuck out.
Yeah.
Phillips, flat.
That's it.
That's
if I
it.
can't get into it with that,
Yeah.
get the fuck out.
We follow the 2 F's around here, Phillips and Flat.
Right.
Get your Torx. Get your tri-bits, your tri-forces, and all this shit out of here.
Goddamn tri-wing screws.
Yeah.
Torx
It's like
secure.
a Phillips that can't commit.
Yeah. It's like a Phillips that lost a limb in the war.
Just drives a wave and it's a stump. Salute. Anyway, should we do a podcast? Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
we should just talk about screws some more.
Talk
Yeah.
about screws and
That's right.
respecting the troops.
Hashtag
It's
no
what we're going
weird
to do after we get cash.
Yeah.
No weird screws.
No Weird Screws.
Hashtag.
Actually, if we have
Yeah.
cash, I'm going to be doing some weird screws.
Yeah, probably. I'm going to tighten it up, get some weird fasteners going on.
It's weird. It's like the first time off the top of our heads we've come up with a really good name for something. It's just something that none of us have any time or interest in doing.
Oh, no weird screws?
Yeah. Like if we were trying to come up, if we sat down and said,
Oh,
okay,
yeah.
we're going to do a live stream every week taking something apart, what should we call it? It would take 4 fucking months to come up with, I don't know, 3 guys in a room with tools taking apart things
What
you
about
know. Every other thing that's been important that I've tried to name in the history of my life has taken 100 years.
Oh, that's all I can do is name shit. I can't. It's following through and actually doing them.
Oh, we should get together.
See, I can name things, but only when I don't have to.
Right, yeah.
Like, if I'm just coming up with bullshit ideas, I can come up with bullshit idea names all day long. If I have an idea and I want to implement it, I cannot come up with a name for it.
No. guy talks about movie podcast. Huh? Good.
Let's be guys that talk about movies.
Okay.
Make a podcast.
Yeah.
Okay. Beard's ready. Okay. Beards, assemble!
I just have activated my beard.
I have opinions.
And you will listen.
All right, and welcome to the BMFcast.
Hey, BMFcast.
BMFcast.
Yeah. Episode 509.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a formula.
I'm going back to the O's. No more 500 and.
Okay.
Yeah, except I just did that. So.
Shit.
We're
Start again.
We're terrible at this thing.
Yeah. Leading off the terrible, I'm Harlow.
I'm BJ.
I'm Chuck.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
what we do each and every wonderful episode of this here BMFcast.
What are we doing?
I don't know.
Okay.
It's a reckoning.
Oh, no.
We go and watch ourselves a quote-unquote bad movie.
Okay.
Come in here and talk about it. Then they get ratings. Good bad movies, enjoyable bad movies. I got 1 to 5 jocks and robot jocks.
Where is this going?
I don't
It's
know.
mutated twice since you started doing this voice.
I'm not used to saying the words in other voices.
Now it's Scottish. What the hell?
In other voices.
Do you see the BMFcast?
It was Tom Hardy trying to sneak in with a little bit of an accent, and it's just morphed the wrong way.
This is awful.
It went the wrong way.
Everyone stop listening.
If they haven't stopped listening already, you telling them
Right.
not to
As soon as
listen.
they hit play, it's
Yeah.
like, oh, no.
Don't worry, this episode wasn't directed by somebody.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah, it was
All right.
directed by somebody else.
All right.
Yeah. But we rate these bad movies. No more voice, just my voice.
Okay.
Good bad movies, enjoyable bad movies. I got 1 to 5 jocks and robot jocks.
Robot jocks.
Robot jocks. Yeah.
Yay.
However, there are bad movies. So stay away. They get a negative sliding scale. 1 to 5 bags. This and giant bags of trash.
Boo.
Yeah.
No one likes trash.
The bane of our existence.
Stop it.
Has nothing to do with this.
Everything has
Nothing
to do.
to do with this.
Right.
Right.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So, what did we watch?
Maniac Cop 3.
Right.
That's,
It's the film Badge of Silence.
yeah, Badge of Silence.
Shh.
Bane could have been silent.
No.
He would have been taken
Stop
more
it.
seriously.
Stop it.
Has nothing to
Stop
do
it.
with this. Yes, we watched the final Maniac Cop film.
All right.
From 1992.
For the love of God, please explain to me why this is an Alan Smithy movie. I need to know, sir.
Okay.
I've been waiting 85 plus minutes.
Here's a quick and dirty
You know
version.
how long it took? 2 hours.
Oh, no. Give us the long fucking version.
No, no,
You've
no.
been teasing this.
I have not.
with us.
It's not worth telling a long
my
version of
God.
the story because it's not that interesting.
Okay.
So they had a plan. They had a script in place to do Maniac Cop 3. It had a different lead character, not Robert DeVee. He was not coming back. It was going to be like a young black cop.
Okay.
Then they got funding, and the people giving the money said, "We don't want that. We want Robert DeVee." So Larry Cohen was like, "If you want me to rewrite the script, you need to pay me." And they didn't have money for that. So what the director did was just film everything without the important bits, and then the final cut of the film was like 50 minutes long.
Okay.
So they had to pull flashbacks in and film, like another person came in and filmed a bunch of stuff. And so that's why eventually when this movie came out on Blu-ray, because it's an unrated cut, dude was just like, just take my name off of this. So
Okay.
that's why. He was thoroughly disgusted with the whole thing by then.
I see. Well, I think from a watching something, actually coming up on the screen, I believe this is our first official Alan Smithy joint on the BMFcast. I mean, we've had plenty of other, like, oh, this person changed their name for some
We've had
strange
fake
reason.
names, yeah.
Lots of fake names. But
Absolutely,
Never the fake name.
But I want to say there was one.
Possibly.
I feel like there was
Okay.
in like the early days, but
One of our, like, sci-fi movie bullshit things that were just like, no.
Maybe,
Yeah.
but it is impossible to search for because the IMDb does not really give you a. Yeah, no, it's
Right.
yeah,
Not
for
important.
being a database, it's really hard to search certain things.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's probably easier to do a Google search for something like that. Just
Probably to do a
the most well-known
cross-reference
Alan
of-
Smithy things.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
But I mean,
according
again-
to this, no, nothing we did had
And again, this is also like recredited later.
right.
So
Yeah, when it came out, it still had the director's name on it. Right. So that's what happened. It was just a weird production thing of we don't have money to change the script, but we need to put this guy back in it, and that's why the movie doesn't make any sense.
No, not a lot.
But let's talk about who's in it.
Okay. Robert Davi.
Right. First of all, the director, William Lustig, who then took his name off, did Maniac Cop 1 and 2 and Uncle Sam, which we watched, I believe, 2 years ago for the 4th of July.
Okay.
Written by Larry Cohen, who did Maniac Cop 1 and 2, Q the Winged Serpent, The Ambulance, and Uncle Sam. So, yeah, they brought back Robert Davi. You might know him best from License to Kill.
Sure. I mean,
I consider that a BMFcast movie because that's our favorite Bond movie.
Okay.
He was also in 7 other BMFcast movies. Robert Zadar from Samurai Cop.
Right.
And 7 other BMFcast movies.
So was it like Super Fights? Wasn't he in Super Fights or no? Not,
no.
No, he was in Dragon.
Dragon
Fight.
Yeah.
I was thinking of the right movie. I was like Desert. He's wearing chainmail.
Yes.
Oh, yes, that.
The movie that is our 6 Degrees movie because everyone's in that fucking movie. Gretchen Becker, who was Kate, the cop who got shot.
Okay.
She was in Firehead.
Great.
Yeah.
That's one of those that the trailer made that look like a much better movie than it really is.
I haven't seen it, but I have seen the trailer, and I was like, those guys didn't like this movie? That trailer looks great.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess. Yeah.
No.
Okay.
Not good.
Paul Gleason. You might know Paul Gleason from Die Hard.
Or
Breakfast Club.
Or
Yeah.
that thing.
Yeah. But he was in
Bull.
Doc Savage and Vigilante Force.
Oh, we watched Doc Savage.
We did, yeah.
I don't remember that.
Oscar-nominated Robert Forster is in this.
He is.
He was in D-Wars and 5 other BAMFcast movies. Probably those other Larry Cohen movies because he's in all those. Also, Oscar nominee Jackie Earle Haley was in Dolman. Julius Harris, he was in Shaft's Big Score, Trouble Man, Live and Let Die, Friday Foster, and Prayer of the Roller Boys.
Okay.
And then Grand Bush, who...
What a name.
Also from Die Hard with Robert Davi. They were the 2 FBI agents. They share a scene together in this. He was also in Streets of Fire, License to Kill, Secret Agent 00 Soul, and Turbulence.
Now, was he Agent Johnson or Special Agent Johnson?
The other one. So...
Okay.
That's it. There are a couple other faces that pop up where you're like, hey, I know you. Like the guy who, the Jamaican guy in the basement was in Mark for Death.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which
okay. Yeah.
Figured that guy was going to come back, but he just shows up in one scene to be like, hey, what are you doing down here?
Everything's Irie.
Yeah. So, Maniac Cop 3.
Yeah.
It is a brisk 85 minutes runtime.
Yeah.
More
I
like
don't know
80
about
minutes. More
brisk. There are parts of this movie where it just felt padded as shit.
Let's film him walking up the stairs slowly.
Right. Like the entire opening credits and the story crawl that tells you a little bit about what's happened in the past.
There's probably 70 minutes of
Yeah. So it shows
Maniac
like
Cop 3
they show
and-
like his whole funeral from the end of Maniac Cop 2, but intercut with Julius Harris in a room somewhere chanting some voodoo stuff. That's the plot. The plot is voodoo stuff.
sort of. Yeah,
but
I guess.
Also, I don't know why.
There's
I don't know why.
There's no reason for it. Julius Harris basically resurrects Maniac Cop and says like, you asked for this. You don't want to be at rest, right? Anyway, go do stuff.
Yeah, there's like 3 plots kind of throughout this movie, maybe more, but like 3 main plots, and they sort of intersect, but not really, because you've got Voodoo Guy wants to resurrect Maniac Cop for what feels like a purpose that never actually comes to
He doesn't
pass in
have
this.
any.
Yeah.
There's no selfish reason. He's not like, I need you to avenge my boy, or
No.
he's just like, hey, you didn't want to be dead, did you? All right, get out there and
I don't even
find
feel like
something
it's
to do.
that. I mean, it's just he gives him a story about like, I can't resurrect anyone that doesn't want to come back. All right, it's just like I didn't even tell you like I
Yeah.
did it for you. I mean, well, like he does say like you obviously want to come back because I can't do anyone that doesn't want to come back.
Right.
So
But why was he doing that in the first place?
don't know. Yeah, but
We never
so,
find out.
Nope.
Maniac comes back as a result of voodoo, but don't worry about that because
Not important.
very quickly.
Don't worry about that.
Yes. there is a young lady cop, who's, I don't know, never really given much of a backstory. It's just like she's kind of angry.
Maniac Kate.
She's Maniac Kate.
Yeah.
They're at the gun range.
And Robert DeVee's kind of like her surrogate older brother, watcher, keeper, like watch out for her neighborhood.
Father figure-ish.
By the way, not a character from the first two films.
No.
This lady.
Nope.
But she just kind of comes in, whines a little bit about like having some sort of like cop issues and like I mean, it's just like the fucking DA down at City Hall, god
Right,
damn
the
it.
mayor and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, anyway, I'm gonna go stop a crime and get shot. And basically, like, she goes to, I mean, it's basically like she goes to
She doesn't say that.
I mean, it's just like 2 seconds later, it's like, oh, there's a firefight at a drugstore with Jackie Earle Haley, and he's behind the bulletproof glass of the pharmacist's office.
Well, not yet.
Not at first, yeah.
First, he's just out in the
Right.
open, and every time a cop comes in, he just blows them away,
Yeah.
including one who doesn't even get past the door.
Yeah.
Right.
They yank this motherfucker back into the car, and that's when Kate, Maniac Kate, gets out of her car with, I don't know, Mac 10 or
Sure.
It's an
a gun she should not have.
It's an MP5K, like really short one.
All right.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. It's a
Okay.
V5 Kate.
Yes.
Yeah. And then she just goes in there and is just like, gun.
yeah, I was gonna say that's the other thing is like she's supposed to be the like junior badass to Robert DeVee, who cannot touch a gun without looking like, it's a spider.
Yeah.
I mean,
She did pretty good at the gun range.
Right.
Sure,
But
but-
this gun was just like,
Yeah.
yeah. This was like,
Ew,
get this
guns.
away from me.
The,
Yeah,
the
I know.
actress was uncomfortable
Yes,
with it.
yeah. Anyway,
maybe she realized, hey, cops shouldn't have whatever the fuck this is.
yeah. There's like half a second of like, I don't know, we have this weird relationship that's not sexual, just like I'm watching out for you because I'm asking you about your own love life. And anyway,
Yeah.
careful out there, kid. And then she's just like, I'm a badass who can't hold a submachine gun, and I'm going to drop through the ceiling, and oh no, I got shot. And so she's basically on life support. And then the movie just kind of shifts because it's like, for no reason whatsoever, a Maniac cop gets this like Bride of Frankenstein thing with her. And it's like, I don't know why. I don't know why he's aware of her. I don't know
Yeah.
how
Because
he knows
she's a
who-
cop that was wronged.
Sure.
That's
Sure.
because the
Yeah.
another subplot is that there are these like scumbag freelance journalists that roam around with a bunch of cameras and a police scanner, and they're looking for like horrible crimes.
Everything
where
that they
cops
are-
are dying,
yeah.
or 3 people have died, or children die.
Yeah, they're rating everything based on like how much they can sell it for.
Right, 1 to 5
Sure.
jocks and robot jocks.
Yeah.
All that. They're weird. So they show up at the active situation
Yes.
and film the whole thing, but then they sell a cut of it to the news channels that makes Kate look like she murdered.
Murdered the
murdered
suspect
the-
and the innocent bystander, who turns out wasn't innocent at all. She
Right.
was in on it.
And shot
Yeah.
and is the one that
So
got her shot. Basically.
okay,
Right.
here's a weird thing about this is that so Jackie Earle Haley's character gets shot like 6 times and then goes to the hospital, and then basically they just pull the bullets out of him and he's fine. But then this becomes a whole thing where it's like his lawyer has done like a settlement with the city for millions of dollars, and I'm like,
because they're looking at it like she just gunned down these people.
I understand that.
Yeah, yeah.
But like 4 cops died before that.
Uh-huh.
She didn't have anything to do with that.
Nope.
This guy was
Right.
fucking murdering cops and high out on drugs, out of his mind.
Yep.
And how this becomes a, hey, that's a bad shoot. You shouldn't have done that. It's like,
Well, the only evidence they had was like what these
I know.
scumbags sold.
I know, but it
and
just-
she was known to use excessive force.
Sure.
And not only did she use a non-department issued gun, the MP5.
Yeah.
She also apparently was using hollow points in her service pistol, which was
Yeah.
not allowed. So it's like
which, okay.
this is they're taking advantage of the culmination of a pretty
It
brash
it
career,
barely makes
but-
sense. I mean, this movie is one of those where it's just it's like latter day bad Friday the 13th, where it's just like we need people that you won't feel that bad if we murder horrifically. Where it's just like we need people a questionable moral character that for no reason whatsoever our silent killer is just going to be like, yeah, you've wronged somebody in my obsession area, and so like
So the weird
you're
thing,
going to pay for it.
The weird thing about this character is that so in the first film he was just killing anyone left and right, just murdering everyone. And the story of the first one is that he was a good cop who went bad and then got murdered in prison. So then the second one, he's still murdering everybody left and right, But they figure out that the city framed him to cover up for their wrongdoings and sent him to jail wrongly, and he got killed, and that's why he's pissed off. And as soon as they say to him on a loudspeaker, like, hey, we're going to reopen your case and clear your name, he, from that point on, only murders the bad guys and becomes like a good Maniac cop, which is fucking stupid, but whatever. So his story concluded at the end of 2. Like, this, they just bring him back, and he's it's almost like he's confused for the first third of this movie because he's not doing anything. He's just standing around, like he doesn't do a single thing until he goes to the hospital and is standing out there, and a jogger runs up on him and is just like, hey, man, you're a cop. Cops fucking suck. She got what she deserved. All you cops are fucking freaks. And he launches this dude in the air and then fills him with bullets before he hits the ground.
I like to call the old yeet and ski.
Eat, skeet, and boogie.
Yeah, so that's what awakens his, like, okay, I guess this is why I'm here now, is to avenge the wrongs that have been done to this lady, except to the person who shot her.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I mean,
It's
I don't
production fuck-ups, and,
Yeah.
and all that is the reason why this movie is a fucking jigsaw puzzle and doesn't make any sense. It's
Yeah, and it's, I mean, I don't know. I just, sometimes that produces fascinating results.
sure.
Most of the time, it just pisses me off. You know, like,
No, you have to look at this movie like a collection of scenes and
Right.
not a cohesive story, because it's not. But the good thing about that is that some of the scenes are fucking great.
Yeah.
Like, really good. There's a lot of just like, oh, you're using every second of film that you shot. I get it. These scenes are going on far too long. But then
And also using shots from Maniac Cop 1 and 2.
Yeah, especially, man, they, for some reason, flash back to his whole jury trial and going to jail again. That scene has been in every fucking Maniac Cop, and the film is so old, it was flickering during the flashback. Not like an effect, like it's a flashback. It's like, no, this film has been worn down. We have played it so many times. But yeah, sometimes he just hangs out with Julius Harris in his weird underground church bunker that he's converted to maybe a voodoo den of some kind.
He also now has, there's layer tunnels under this hospital, because most of the whole movie takes place
In this hospital.
in and around this hospital.
Right.
I mean, there are various times when they go other places, but I mean, that's your central location
Yeah.
throughout the whole movie.
Yeah.
And then, there's just this dumb catacomb maze underneath it for some reason, and that leads to the Jason shack that where, I mean, it's just,
Yes.
it's so like Jason-esque. It's not even like the other ones like their own kind of interesting thing. This is just like, I don't know, shit out of Friday the 13th. It doesn't have to make sense.
Yeah.
It really, I mean, that's what
Basically,
it feels like.
I mean, this was just like, I
because
don't
I mean,
know.
it also it's I mean, now I'm not saying like everything he did was sound and logical in the way he killed people, but I mean, this is like we're getting to the Jason Takes Manhattan, like, punching the head off dumb shit. I mean, we've reached the like, with the eat and skeet. I mean, it's like, that's just,
It's cartoonish.
it's stupid.
It's
It's funny, but it's also
sure.
stupid. It's like, okay, we've reached that point.
Yeah.
That's where we're at.
So like the doctor who operated on Kate and is basically just like, she's a vegetable. You just plant her in a rock garden. There's no hope for her.
Yeah, wonderful bedside manner.
Yeah,
Dr. Dick over there.
he's fucking terrible. And really, Maniac Cop has never witnessed to any of these things. He just
he knows.
he gets a psychic sense that someone is being a dick to this lady. So there's a scene where he's standing in the room and Robert DeVee is in there holding her hand, and then she has, even though she's brain dead, she has a dream that she is getting married to Maniac Cop. And she wakes up and freaks out for a few seconds because, yeah, I would too. And then this is their connection. Like, Maniac Cop is like all in on this.
Well, Maniac Cop is in the room.
Yeah, I know. He's hiding in the shadows. Yeah, but I'm saying, like, it's from this point on where he's like, I must defend her and she will be mine. But first, everyone who has ever even crossed her path in any way, I must deal with them. So the doctor who operated on her, who's a dick, gets paddle shocked to death a bunch of times. He hears a noise and walks out of the locker room and just gets fucking paddled.
Yeah.
Oh no, he's going down on one of the like nurses or something.
With a stethoscope.
Yeah,
Hey, they were playing doctor.
yeah. And Maniac Cop knocks on the door
Yes, hard.
to get his attention.
Yeah.
And then he goes
eventually-
out and gets
Yeah.
Maniac copped.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then he, like,
Defibrillated.
He goes out to the roof, and then Maniac Cop just shocks the stair railing that he's holding on to.
Yeah.
I was just thinking, like, there's almost like a half second of thought to the kills matching their crime. Because, I mean, the kid that was like, that got yeeted and skeeted was like, oh, you guys are just a bunch of cowboys, and he does a fucking cowboy trick.
Sure.
This
Throws
guy,
him up in the air.
this
Oh,
guy
yeah.
has no fucking heart. And he gets
yeah.
crash carted
Yeah,
to death,
yeah,
you know.
good,
So I mean, it's
good.
like, you know, I mean,
Okay.
I'm
but then-
liking this theory.
But I'm just saying, like, I think it fades from there because, like, what's Robert Forrester's fate? I mean, he's a arrogant asshole who's
He
gets
so he
X-rayed
comes
to death. I
he
mean, it's
comes
like-
in because the other doctor's dead.
Right.
Can I, before we go on to that, can
Mm-hmm.
I just mention that, like, Dr. Dick is, he's actually killed because Maniac Cop smushes his head between
yeah.
the paddles and lifts him off the ground while continuously shocking him with the defibrillator.
Yeah.
For sure, we were going to get an exploding head out of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't.
It was fun, though.
Crash cart and burn.
Right. So Robert Forster comes in, and he's like, I'm a doctor down. I got to do this. I'm walking and talking through the ER. Put some dirt on that. And, you know, he's just barking orders at everybody. He's just this weird swinging dick doctor who's just like, I'm here.
He's already lost a leg. Tie up that femoral artery.
Yeah. And Paul Gleason shows up. He's, I guess, the mayor's aide or something. And he's like,
He's City Hall schmuck.
yeah,
whatever,
he's just like, look, can you just take her off life support for reasons? We got the consent form here. Just do it. And if you do it, I'll give you.
And again, like, in the briefest setup possible, because I mean, like, Kate's like kind of a central character to the. I mean, she becomes Kate MacGuffin because it's like it doesn't mean anything.
Love
like,
her on Saturday Night
Yeah, but I mean, it's like she barely has any setup. They bring her mother in for half a second just to kind of establish she might be mildly senile, sort of, you know. And then it's just like, yeah, we talked to the old bird and she signed off on it. You know, haha, she won't even know. And it's just like, all right, I get it. You know, like,
Yeah.
you know, again, just like, I don't know, blanket, like, I don't know. It's like Clippy would come up and be like, I see you're trying to write a scumbag for your killer to kill.
Right.
Can I help you with that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he just they cut to something else and then cut back, and Robert Forster hears a noise or gets distracted or something and walks into the X-ray room, and it's just like, who left all this
Oh,
stuff
he
on
sees
the
the
floor?
light on the X-ray
Right.
is on. Yeah.
He's like, who left all this on the floor? You better show yourself. And then Maniac Cop comes out and straps him to the table and stuffs a rag in his mouth and then X-rays him to death.
Yeah. That was a pretty rad death.
Eh.
But then Paul Gleason meets up with Jackie Earle Haley's lawyer, and she's like, we're going to get millions from you guys. So we got TV rights and all these things, and we should go out sometime. And he's like, yeah. Okay, so Maniac Cop has broken in and is for some reason letting Jackie Earle Haley go. He uncuffs him from the bed and gives him a gun. And I think this was to distract so that he could go get Kate.
Sure.
Yes.
But so he lets him go, and then he lets everyone else in the prison ward go, and they break out. And immediately he's just like, Paul Gleason and his lawyer are like, let's go on a date. Yeah. And then they both get fucking filled with lead from Jackie Earle Haley. And he's like, oh, man, I killed my lawyer. And the guy escaping with him was like, they're free. It's fine.
Yeah. Get another one. They're free.
So, and then all of a sudden, like, Robert DeVee's there, and he's concocted this weird scheme where he's under a sheet on a gurney, just slowly rolling through the hallway. And they're like, the hell is that?
Chuck, that's undercover.
Oh, he was undercover. Yeah, and he pops out and is just like blam blam. So yeah, it's introducing a lot of characters who are all immediately dispatched quickly. Like no one has an arc in this. It's just you're just here long enough to know that they're a dick and you're going to get Maniac copped. That's what's going to happen.
Yeah, basically.
Um,
the plot comes across like a scary movie where it's just like, I mean, like these scary movies.
Oh,
not
okay. I was
a
going to say,
scary
well,
movie.
it kind of
Like,
is a scary movie.
Yes,
It's
I
a
mean,
spooky movie.
one of these scary movies.
I see. The spoof
Yes,
movies.
the spoof movies. Just because it's like, here's a random person that will show up, do a bit for half a second, then like, oh no, I died.
Oh,
you know,
David
it's-
Cross is here
yeah,
for the next 12 minutes.
That's what I mean. It's just like, I'll do a bit for half a second,
Right.
and like, the backstory, pshaw, I'm evil, so you don't feel bad when I die.
Yeah. Like the nurse who is just becomes Robert DeVee's partner in this basically has seen Maniac Cop in the hospital and followed him down to the basement. And then Robert DeVee goes down to the basement. And then he just connected. it's weird because they're told there's nothing down here. It used to go out to the other buildings. Now it doesn't go anywhere. But it goes straight to Julius Harris's lair.
The Voodoo Lounge.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, do you think that maybe Marked for Death guy was like acting as kind of a guard for the lair?
Maybe.
Because
It would have been
there
nice
was a
to
sign-
maybe expand on that character
Again,
for 4
sure,
minutes.
but I mean, it's right by a sign that's like not an exit, and of course he accosts the doctor as she was snooping around, like, "What you doing down here, doctor?" Like it's yeah, okay. I'm pretty sure he was like,
We're not being insensitive. He
No, no,
did
no.
the really
Yes.
like bad
He was doing that accent.
accent. Yeah.
Yes.
I don't know if that's his real.
I was why is there's nothing offensive about doing a Jamaican accent, is there? I mean, any more than like doing an Australian accent.
No,
or
I mean,
any
we're
other
not trying to
fucking ones, right?
appropriate it or anything.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
like, that's how this guy sounded. And
Yeah.
we're not making fun of him. It's just
No.
we're trying to be accurate.
I don't know. You're just,
Right. Yeah,
yeah.
it just wanders. It's just a wandering movie. Eventually, we go back to the photojournalists who were like, there's been a this is such a weird,
No, it's
fucking weird
it
thing
doesn't
that
even-
happens. It
it's
doesn't
so
make
dumb.
sense. They get a call on the radio that there's been a drive-by shooting and it's a kid, and they're like, "Oh, sweet!" And they drive over there and they split up to each go get B-roll, and one of them talks to this kid who's like hanging out, and he's just like, "So, tell me about the kid who got shot." And he was like, "Yeah, it was my sister." And he's like, "Oh, that's a shame. Anyway, buck up, kid. See you later."
It's also like the kid has.
He has like ghost makeup
Yeah.
on.
The kid looks dead. I thought
Yeah.
the kid was dead.
Yeah.
No, that's what I'm saying. It's like there is a layer of movie that they
I know.
walked back on here
I know.
because this kid is clearly supposed to be a fucking ghost
Yes,
or something.
because
Yeah.
the reveal of this is that it's all been set up by Maniac Cop to kill these
Has
two.
it been set up by Maniac Cop?
Yes.
I think Maniac Cop used it as a setup. He went there, murdered everybody else so that he could murder these
Because
guys.
there was only one ambulance there, and there was no child in it. It was just the paramedics and the other photographer.
The child's still dead somewhere while his
Maybe.
while
I don't
I
know.
think there was a dead child.
I think the
You know?
implication was Maniac Cop set up this ruse, paid this dead kid to show up and tell them this story so that, one, he could murder the photojournalist and the paramedics who didn't do anything wrong, and then take their videotape to give it to Robert DeVee so that he can expose it and clear Kate's name.
Okay.
How does one pay a dead kid in like two opal? I
I have a quick rewrite of this scene that,
Go ahead.
that saves it.
Let's do it.
When the freelance videographer dude asks the kid where she was shot, this kid pulls his shirt away to reveal that the actual bullet wounds that are on this kid, and then Maniac Cops him from behind.
Right. Okay.
That's how that scene should have played
Sure.
out.
There's a bunch of ways it should have
yeah.
played out.
That kid was the one who got shot. And
Right.
Maniac Cop used his ghost powers to bring that kid back for half a second.
Exactly.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Why not? That makes sense. How it works in this
Or
doesn't make
or
sense.
Dr. Voodoo's in the background, like
Yeah,
conjuring him
yeah.
for half a second, and
Yeah.
he's the
What
one
we
that
call
made the
Dr.
call.
Voodoo.
Yeah. I mean, whatever. I just like there's lots of ways to do this, and show that Dr. Voodoo has a police scanner, radio, whatever, CV.
Sure.
Yeah. I don't know. Just
You're just spitballing here.
yeah. I mean, there's lots of ways to actually tie these plots together to mean something, but
It's-
they don't mean fuck all because they're just like, I don't know. We brought him back because reasons, and now it's sort of Bride of Frankenstein, but also she's totally brain dead and will not be coming back or coming back alive at any point in the rest of this movie.
So
she's
here's
completely useless and
Yeah.
will remain useless and remain dead for the entire movie.
Here's what I don't understand. And there's a lot of information about the production out there, but this part doesn't make any sense, which is I understand like they changed your main character and therefore everything involving that main character had to be extracted. And that's what made the movie not make sense, and that's what made your final cut come in at like 53 minutes. I understand that. But these aren't union shoots. Like these are not in any way in any kind of under any authority. Why they didn't just have some PA take the script and say, can you link these scenes together in a way that makes sense instead of let's just shoot what's left and fuck it. I'm going to throw a fit and leave the production at the end because fuck everything. I hate movies now or whatever he did. I don't understand that. Unless they were told like the day before shooting was supposed to start that they couldn't do that. What you just came up with made 10 times more sense.
That's because I'm a great writer.
Yes, and someone else could have thought of that same general idea.
No, only I could have thought of
okay.
that general
So,
idea, Chuck.
well-
But someone else could have thought of another idea.
Right.
That was
I honestly, I feel like there was probably other behind the scenes drama. I honestly think that lady was supposed to be a lead actress, and she fucking sucked.
Who, Kate?
Yeah.
Oh.
I think she was supposed to be like a main character in there. Like they saw her with the gun and like, Kate Capshawing it basically like, like, and they were like, okay, kill her.
I think they were always going to do this Bride of Maniac Cop thing.
But, I think they like changed the direction when they're like, yeah, she's not coming back awake because we don't need any more of her acting. I don't know. I'm just saying, like, I feel like this was probably a forest for the trees kind of thing, like
Robert Forster for the trees.
Yes. But no, I just think that like they probably like got so in the weeds of like problems and stuff that they were just like, fuck it, I can't see the way out, even though it's like really simple just to like do a couple of little bits of tying the room together, like.
Yeah.
I mean, sending out the paparazzi guys out to get B-roll. It's like, motherfuckers, you do that. Like, all you need is like a shot of somebody going like, "Oh, what's that?" I mean, like there are ways to salvage a film with like B-roll. I mean, it usually looks Ed Woodish, but
right.
it's like
all of a sudden here's some buffalo.
Yeah, I'm just saying, it's like, but it can be done better than this. I mean, I would take Ed Wood over this, where it's just like, I don't know.
Did they run out of? Did they just like run out of money and they had no more money to buy film stock?
I don't know. It's I don't know. We should watch that documentary. But
yeah, we should have. We would have known all this shit.
Yeah.
God damn it.
But I think what then saves this film is whatever fucking madness is going on in the last 20 minutes because of the chaos that Maniac Cop has created, he's now free to just go scoop Kate out of bed and take her down to the basement voodoo lounge and just place her on a slab where Voodoo Man is like, all right, I'm going to give you a wife and I'll bring her back too.
He doesn't even say. He's just like, I'm bringing her back.
I know. I gave him more motivation than what he gives.
Right.
Basically, he's just like, I'm bringing her back, and we're assuming that it's because, Maniac Cop needs, a wife.
Maniac Cop needs some love.
Yep. So, Robert DeVee has figured this out, and he's gone down there with the nurse for some reason, who's the only one who can hold a flashlight for some reason. And they burst in, and he's like, hey, stop what you're doing to Kate.
Because I'm about to ruin.
Yeah. And then he's like, just knock it off. And like he steps aside, and then Maniac Cop is back there. And this is the first time that Robert DeVee has seen Maniac Cop. He's had some inkling that it is Maniac Cop, but he's never pursued it in any way.
Right.
But then he's just like, oh shit, Maniac Cop's and he's holding a shotgun on him. What are we gonna do?
I also like that, like Dr. Lady. I don't know what her name is.
Dr. Lady.
Dr. Lady.
Hello, I'm Dr. Lady.
Dr. Lady. I don't remember her name because again, nobody has any real story in this or backstory. But like, she a couple times is the audience because. There's one point where there's a car chase happening. I think it's in the final car chase. I know it doesn't really matter, but there's a part where she's in the car.
Oh, it is? Yeah, yeah.
And she just screams, I hate this.
I hate this.
But there is a point where, like, as soon as, like, okay, so random B cop runs up to Robert DeVee and it's like, oh, no, they've taken Kate, and like he basically is like, how long can she live off life support? And the doctor's basically like, she can't.
No.
I mean, I just like that, like
She
she's basically
dead.
like, yeah, this is fucking pointless.
Yeah.
Like we're chasing a corpse at this point.
It's like you're trying to save a husk.
Yeah.
It's not
Yeah.
nothing. There's no point in this,
Right,
but
yeah.
he's kind of had a hint that Maniac Cop is behind this.
Right.
And so
Like I said, I like that occasionally she slips through and like becomes the audience cipher of just like, I'm gonna say like what we all know, like you're fucking chasing, like the second you pulled those plugs, she done. Like
yeah, she's off the machines.
Yeah.
The machines were keeping her alive. That's it. So basically, Julius Harris comes to the conclusion, like, I can't do this. Her soul doesn't want to come back. There's nothing I can do. Maniac Cop does not accept that.
Thus the one bookended thing that they bothered to carry through
Right.
this entire movie.
Yes. So Maniac Cop shoots him, and then basically there's a shootout. He starts shooting at Robert DeVee, and he hides.
I think it was implied he was sprinkling gunpowder on her or something explosive because like the bowl was like
Who
some kind
knows?
of black powder.
It was-
I mean, it was
voodoo
granular
shit.
something. But I mean, like, he got it knocked out of the way and it went everywhere. And so when he got shot, I mean, shit just like immediately went.
We also had a
fuego.
candle. He dropped it
Yeah.
on her. She immediately went up in flames.
I just mean it was like,
Yeah.
like more so than just a person with clothes on should do.
Right.
Like,
Right.
yeah.
So
Well, I mean, just like shit just goes on fire in Maniac Cops.
yes,
so.
it does. So she's on fire. She's hot. Maniac Cop comes over, scoops her up, and now he is on fire. Maniac Cop will be on fire for the rest of the film.
Yeah.
So
Is it the shoes? All the other team had to do was score once, and
Yeah.
So at the end of Maniac Cop 2, one of the things that we loved was that Maniac Cop was on fire for like 8 straight minutes. And we were like, holy shit, this is awesome. So at least for 3, they were like, okay, what if he's on fire for 20 minutes? And what if they do some awesome shit during that?
What if he's just driving down the road on fire?
Right.
I just want to give a big shout out to the stunt performers because, like, I'm sure they did it in separate takes, but that
they
dude's
absolutely
completely
did.
100% covered in fire.
Yes.
And he's carrying something on fire as well.
In
And
fuego totalmente.
Yeah.
yes, like
Yeah, so he scoops up this mannequin that's on fire and shambles out of there, but doesn't get out initially because it's a fake ending. Like, there's a... What's the thing that ends it coming out of there to where they're like, this is no big deal?
What, that ends what now?
So, like, at first, we think it's like we don't think he even gets out of the hospital.
Right.
He's carrying her.
oh, the hospital.
He fuck, what is it? Well, yeah, they're not in the hospital, they're in the church.
Right, they're under yes.
Yeah, they're in the Brother Voodoo's.
But Robert DeVee
church.
does something to stop him, and it's kind of weak sauce. It's like, that's it. And then Robert DeVee and what's her name are in an ambulance, and they're just like,
I think he just kind of collapsed. Like, he had her and was just stumbling, like,
Oh,
I
yeah.
can't
Right.
go anymore.
Yeah,
and they
yeah.
were just like, shut the doors. And then the
Right.
place went up, and they were like,
she
"Hey, we're
passed
safe."
out for
Yeah.
some reason, smoke inhalation or something.
Right.
And then they're like, okay,
They're in the ambulance.
and they do the scene like, okay, all the ambulances are here. Let's take you. And they're like, do you want to go to this hospital? And he's like, no, other side of town, please.
Yeah.
He just goes, the other one. Like,
Yes.
I love that. Like, there are 2 hospitals in New York City.
East and West. Which, by the way, this movie starts with a scene establishing it's New York City, and then immediately cuts to a scene that is obviously Los Angeles. Like, I've never been to Los Angeles, and as soon as I saw that shot, I was like, oh, that's Los Angeles. That's that bridge. That's the LA River. I know exactly where you are. But yeah, so they're just like, they're in the ambulance, and she's awake now, and she takes off the oxygen mask, and they start to make out. And then all of a sudden,
Well, you hear the briefest, like, police sirens
Yeah.
creeping louder. Like,
Yes.
at first, it's like, it's just kind of like a escort. But you hear, like, kind of a screech, and then the sirens get louder, and the lights get louder. And,
Yes.
yeah. And
The lights
Maniac
get
Cop,
louder. Yeah.
the lights get louder, yes.
Maniac Cop has stolen a police car, and he's still on fire. And
Well,
this
you
is-
can go faster. You have unlimited turbo.
That's true, yes.
Right.
And my God, this scene goes on forever.
Oh,
And-
it does.
And it's so like,
But it kind of starts with something awesome, which is like the ambulance driver. Maniac Cop drives up next to the ambulance. The ambulance driver looks at it and goes, no, fuck this. And just leaps out of the car.
Yeah.
the ambulance is going at speed. Like,
Oh, yeah.
they have not slowed down or anything. He's just like, I'm out. And bails.
Yeah, he just Steve Carell's right the fuck out of that car.
Yes. And we're like, oh, okay. Now it's the ambulance, really. It's the same movie. But yeah, no. She starts driving, and Robert DeVee's like, I don't know. And like you said, and like we were thinking, it's like, okay, because he's unloading his gun into Maniac Cop over and over and over again. He unloads, I don't know, 3 magazines into him.
Yes.
So, like, Forbes people.
Yes,
and
all the hot
And
magazines
four-wheeler.
of the
four-wheeler.
Yeah.
of the time.
Four-wheeler monthly.
Yeah.
And
Guns
like
with
you
ammo.
said, you were like, use the hollow points. You established it in the first scene. What the fuck are you doing, movie? And that's not what he does. He takes an oxygen mask or
tank,
an oxygen tank and footballs it into the back seat. And you're like, okay, that's going to blow up, but he's already on fire. What's the big deal? And then that doesn't blow up for like another 7-8 minutes. Like, they just keep cutting to it. It's on fire, and they're like, well, it's going to blow up at some point.
They got to get their money's worth of these car stunts.
Yes, because man, he is on fire and he keeps crashing into the ambulance, and they're just doing like, okay, I'm gonna hit my brakes for a second. Haha, you went past me, and then for some reason it's like, now hit the
Well,
gas
at this
again.
point, when the oxygen tank has come into play, Maniac Cop is holding on to the inside of the ambulance door.
yeah, he's
which
basically
because
fused.
I think the first Top Gun hit the brakes and they'll go right by.
Yeah.
took the door off the side of the police car
Okay.
because
There was no door.
Yes.
Yeah, there was no door. Well, no. I'm sorry. No, he ripped the door off and got in the police car. So
Right.
there's never a door.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
but he is.
No, he fucks your door
Yeah,
over and
yeah,
over
yeah.
again in this movie.
There was never a door from
No.
the moment he entered the cop
No.
car.
Maniac
Or actually,
shocked
we
him up.
wouldn't know. No, we didn't see him get in the cop
We
car.
did not.
We did not.
No.
He
But-
ripped the door off of Robert
it-
Davi's car.
Yeah.
to
Anyway,
put the tape in it.
so anyway, somewhere along the way, there's no door because he is just driving through traffic with his bare arm that is on fire, like pit maneuvering cars. He's just driving
his arm,
With his
yeah.
arm, he's just driving alongside him, going push like the Rock with a fucking torpedo on an icy lake.
Yeah.
You know, it's just
That's
like
fucking
yeah,
great.
and it's just like pit maneuver, and then when he gets up alongside the ambulance, yeah, he just fucking clamps on and is like,
right.
you know,
Uses his arm as a clamp.
Yeah.
Is Maniac Cop getting stronger throughout the movies?
Sure.
Or has he always been like super strong?
Well,
sure, why not? I don't know.
in the first one, he was kind of, you could wound him. In the second one, it was just the clip we saw at the beginning of
He's
him
like, you
just
suck, Maniac
exploding
Cop.
through.
you fucking big stupid bad cop. You're
Yeah.
a maniac. You wound me,
Oh,
sir.
yes. Yeah, no, you can't insult him now.
Suffer the slings and arrows.
Yeah. So Robert DeVee is still pumping bullets into him, and it's still not doing anything.
No, it's not.
And the cars are fused together, and he's like, that tank's gonna blow in the next 10 minutes or so. I don't know. We got to get detached from Maniac Cop. Eventually crashes into just a random railroad crossing post that's in the middle of the road somewhere, and it separates them to where.
It separates them by severing Maniac Cop's arm.
Yes. And then the ambulance rolls, and Maniac Cop just kind of stunts to the end of this wherever they are and turns around. And so the ambulance is rolled, and
Again, it's establishing. That's another problem with this movie is it's establishing something that you don't pay off because all of this is occurring right at a railroad crossing, and
Right.
you're like, I've seen the movie.
Yeah.
I know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
A fucking
Right.
random
Yes.
train is going to help finish this, but
Yes.
no, it's
No.
just they get to be
They-
sort of like they're going to have a chicken race or whatever, except the ambulance is like laying on its side.
it's on its side. And you see Maniac Cop, and he's like gunning the engine. He's like, I'm just going to ram. He's still on fire, by the way.
Yep.
And he's just going to ram this ambulance. And it's at this point that the oxygen tank finally explodes,
Yep.
filling the on fire car with more fire, and
And
this-
explosions.
and yes, and
so many explosions.
this is what it took to stop Maniac
Well,
Cop.
this is what happens when you steal Officer Napalm's car.
Yeah. And then the fucking best part of this movie happens. All of that was awesome. 20 minutes of Maniac Cop on fire was awesome. But then the two of them slowly emerge from the ambulance, which is on its side. Robert DeVee's like, well, took care of that. Pulls out a cigarette, kind of pats around his jacket, is like, I don't have a lighter. Goes over to the door of the ambulance. You don't see it at first, but he rips Maniac Cop's
there's a
arm.
good kind of Velcro-y sound
Yes.
as he
Yes, because it's
Yeah.
melted and fused to the car.
Yeah.
He rips off Maniac Cop's dismembered arm, which is still on fire, and uses it to light his cigarette.
And then throws it at the rest of the burning wreck.
And she looks at him like, "Oh, you." me 5 minutes ago, she's screaming, "I hate this" at the top of her lungs.
Hey, his-
and now
Well,
she's
she
like,
survived,
I
yeah.
know, but she's just like, "Oh, you're funny."
His
Look at you."
personality is rather disarming.
Yeah, and then there's just a last shot of them wheeling a corpse into the morgue, which is Kate.
Yeah.
It's not Maniac Cop. Maniac Cop's already there, but you see Maniac Cop's hand come out from under the sheet and grab Kate's hand, and then the coroner just kind of turns around and is like, "The fuck?" And then the movie ends.
Yep.
Man, what a ride.
Mostly on fire.
It was in fuego. Yeah, Maniac Cop 3 is a weird ass thing, but it's cool.
Agreed.
At least they were like, I don't know, let's do some cool shit.
Well, I'll start because I have a feel I'll probably be the lowest rated.
Okay.
I'm only giving it a Seagull Jocks.
All right.
I don't like dismembered movies like this. No, it's just like I don't like things that have this lack of cohesion like this.
Sure.
I mean, I appreciate the things that they filmed well, and I appreciate the fire stunts and car stunts and stuff. But yeah, like no, also like I don't know, things like this. I have constantly said it costs you no extra money. I guess it does in Larry Cohen's case, but it doesn't cost you no extra money just to like make the script good. Like that's
Yeah.
free.
Well-
you know? Like I mean, it takes talent. Yes,
It takes talent to make it good. You can make an effort to make it make sense,
right.
and no
That's-
one did.
That's what I mean. It's like cleaning up the script or connecting A to B to C doesn't cost you more money, or it shouldn't cost you more money if
Yeah.
you're doing anything even halfway right. And it's not like this is first time movie makers or some shit like that. I mean, it's like I my tolerance for like, oh, we've been doing this shit for 10 plus years and we just all of a sudden fucked up. It's like, how? Like, clearly, how did you like?
I
fuck
think
up
that
this
guy was
badly?
just so
Yeah.
disgusted by the process
I'm
of
not
it. by
pointing
the
at
end.
any one person.
No,
I'm just
I know.
saying, like, you're fucking professionals. How do
Yeah.
you not like just connect the dots a little bit? Like,
But I mean, we've seen countless movies where it's like there's obviously something missing here, and then the film will patch it in with ADR. They're like,
Sure.
"Oh, we
Yeah.
forgot to connect these two things. We need to just have someone say something in
yeah.
the background,
and
and
I roll
that
my
will."
eyes at that, but at least it's like, well, at least you tried.
Yeah, at least someone was like,
Yeah.
At
At least the script continuity person stepped in and go, excuse me, like at least there's someone credited as a script
Right.
continuity person.
Right.
you know?
Yeah, I think one of the Fast and Furious movies, maybe 6 or something, had a scene where they obviously had to go grab the Rock from whatever he was doing to film some bit of connective tissue for that movie. And it was the scene where they forgot to put the goatee back on the Rock. So there's one scene in the middle of this movie where it's like, you don't have any facial hair. What the hell? But they figured it was important enough that they had to get this exposition back in the movie for that to make sense. But I appreciate that this movie has a sense of, well, we can't really do anything about it to make it good, but we can do some cool ass shit at the end. Probably the financiers won't have any problem with the stunt stuff, so that got to stay. So were you?
Yeah, that's it. Just
Okay.
basically the jocks. I mean, like I would still say watch it, but like this is one I could hover both ways. I mean, I'd still say watch it because I think the stunts are worth watching,
Yeah.
but like everything else sucks.
Yeah.
I mean, especially when Maniac Cop 1 and 2 exist. Like,
Right.
why? I mean, other than the car stunts, like there's nothing here.
So here's the thing with me. I watched the first two again last week in preparation, so I wouldn't feel lost. So I would have some.
You didn't need to. The first two were in
We're
this
pretty
movie.
much in this movie.
And we got a recap in the beginning.
I maintain my opinions on the first two, which is that the first one is kind of just a real movie. Like, it doesn't do anything outlandish. It's just like, yeah, he's a cop who was dead and now he's not, and it's a slasher movie, basically. And there's not really any over-the-topness in it to really go, wow, that's great. The second one, they're like, okay, what if same plot, but just fucking crazy bullshit? And we're like, yeah, okay, yes, that's perfect. This is the worst of the three, but I'm giving it a higher BMFcast rating than I gave the first one. I gave the first one 1 jocks. I'm giving this one 2. I was kind of sitting at 0 the whole time because I was like, this sucks. Like, you're not doing it right. And then Maniac Cop's on fire for 20 minutes. And I'm like, okay, 1 jocks. And then he fucking lights a cigarette with the dude's arm. And I'm like, all right, 2 jocks. You did good. Those 2 things are worth it to me. I will always remember this movie for those 2 things. He was on fire for 20 minutes, and then he lights a cigarette with the dude's arm. So 2 jocks. It's weird that I'm going to give this an official rating that is lower than the first one, but the podcast rating is higher. That's weird, but whatever.
I think I'm going to have to go with Harlow on this one. I can recommend it, but just barely, and mainly because it's 80 minutes. If it was any longer, like if this was even a 90-minute movie, it would have dragged on too long. And I'm saying that like fully understanding they could have added 10 more minutes of fire. But I don't think that would have, I don't think that would have.
I would have taken 10 minutes more of connective tissue. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
honestly,
Okay.
like,
Sure. Yeah. Like if they add 10 more minutes of.
giving some people backstories, or I mean, just writing fucking Kate out of the movie because she's totally pointless. Like, I don't. That's the thing. Is like,
Or if they wrote like, okay, so Robert Davi is really fond of Kate. Like, she dies in the line of duty.
Mm-hmm.
Robert Davi finds this voodoo guy to bring her back, and instead he accidentally brings back Maniac Cop.
Mm-hmm.
So then he has to go find another voodoo guy or somebody to bring back Maniac Kate, and then they have a Maniac Kate versus Maniac Cop.
Sure.
You know,
That would have been
like
awesome, too.
that's a great movie right
Yeah.
there.
yeah,
If they had just had...
like Supernatural with Oli and Niles.
Oh, that's my favorite thing to order at Olive Garden.
Well, they call it that because it's going to haunt you later.
Right. and it was on for 16 seasons. If they had just had some, so they totally made up the more new backstory for the Maniac cop in the second one. They were just like, nah, forget all that. It's actually this. If the third one had just had this voodoo guy read in articles like, oh, he died on the day he was going to get married. That's sad. You know, he deserves a wife or something. And he was just like, I'm going to bring you back to one, right the wrongs that happened to my boy or something. Like, I need you to do something for me, and then I'll do this for you. That's all it needed, was just like, go right these wrongs for me. I will give you a wife that you can share the afterlife with, or whatever the hell Maniac Cop's existence is.
Yeah.
I mean, there's an easy way to like actually connect this all up. I mean, honestly, like first off, you need the motivation for the voodoo guy. I think is most important. Like, why the hell would you resurrect somebody without a good reason?
Yep.
So I think
Because you can.
Well, I think you go back to like the Mark for Death thing, and it's basically like this guy fucked up a police station hardcore. If we set this motherfucker loose, we can do all of our crimes we want with this guy running around wrecking shit. And then at the end, it's like, oh fuck, we have to face our own creation. And you know, like, you know, then Maniac Cop gets to kill your drug dealer, whatever dudes, Haitian, whatever guys.
Yeah.
You know,
Right. Sure.
Yeah.
I'm
Any
just
number
saying,
of things.
I'm just saying, like, and then you know, whatever, the girl can be like, you know, a dangly plot, like a carrot on a stick for Maniac Cop. You know, like make that the control mechanism of like,
Oh yeah, sure.
You'll
Like,
get this lady.
well, just like, you know, like we will make you a partner. You know, you will no longer be alone. You know, whatever. I'm just,
yeah, sure, yeah. And that takes like 3.5 minutes at the beginning of the movie.
Yeah, maybe not make it a really old dude who may be blind. I was never quite sure if he was supposed to be blind. He kept making
I think he was
motions.
just making faces.
Yeah, I'm just saying he was making motions like he was acting like a blind person occasionally, or just
Right.
generally not giving a fuck. But again, no backstories for anybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Give a backstory to old Julius. I think that was his name.
It was.
Yeah. Not his character's name, but yeah.
Did they ever even say his character's name?
No, they
That's
did
why I
not.
just keep saying. I mean, what, Brother Voodoo's a Marvel character. That's why I keep saying. I don't
Yeah.
know.
He did have a character name.
Houngan.
Houngan. Houngan.
Houngan.
Nobody calls him Houngan. Or
Hoonigan.
Houngan.
Hoonigan.
Hongan. Hongan.
Yeah.
Hwangan.
Yep.
Whatever. Nobody calls
I
him
don't know.
that.
I mean, they give names to like the fucking photographers and shit, and it's like, I don't know which names
And
are.
was that him pretending to be the homeless guy outside the crime scene?
Yes.
Thought it
Yes,
was,
it was.
but it just
yeah.
seemed very strange that he would be there.
Right. That's what I mean. I was like, that's
I
him.
saw it happen.
I
you
was
know?
like, that's him, right? I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not trying to be like, why would that be the same guy? But I'm like, that's the same fucking guy.
Yeah.
It
Like,
was.
Yeah.
yeah.
I again, like, you know,
It's just weird that he's there to like, yeah, that guy's head's gone, right? I stabbed it earlier, and that's how I
what
brought back
mean.
Maniac
You know,
Cop.
it's like, why? I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just
They almost like
put it together.
they almost put something together because they had him there and
Yeah.
he could have been like, oh, I hate cops or whatever. I hate any cops that aren't maniacs or whatever.
Right, I hate you normal cops.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck you guys.
Or like, you know, a maniac cop or maniac cop was trying to save me and you killed him or any, you know,
Yeah, literally
shoot a
anything.
flashback sequence.
It's the thin boo line.
Spooky
Oh,
cops.
Yeah.
Wow.
What?
That one break you?
That was it. That was the one that did it.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's just so bad. Boo line. Holy shit.
Boo line's better.
Nope.
I would like to thickly boo that line.
Yeah.
But it's too funny.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah. That's it. That's a podcast.
Yeah.
That's all there is to
that's a
that.
trilogy. Mm-hmm. We've finished a franchise.
We finished the fight.
Yep.
Yep. Until the official real.
Yeah, until that
Nicholas-
HBO show.
That's never
Yeah.
gonna. That's never gonna happen.
Man, I can't wait to see the Neon Demon version of fucking Maniac Cop. Can't wait for that. That's gonna be great.
Yeah, it's going to be unpleasant and nothing much will happen.
It'll look good in HDR and
yeah.
be very unpleasant.
Yeah. Can't wait.
Yeah.
So. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
So that-
how do people talk to us?
With words.
You know, with words and stuff.
yeah.
Yeah. You could. I don't know. What do you?
I don't know.
I'm really fucking this up, aren't I?
How to-
What would you like?
So,
to,
so
Why
are you
don't
talking
tell
about
me
like,
the name
like
of the movie you want?
writing words or talking words?
If you want to use the written word.
Written word, you can email us, bmf@bmfcast.com, or catch us on any of our socials.
Right.
Yeah.
What if you wanted to speak into a telephone device?
You could call 9105-JOCKS-BMF or 910-556-9263 and catch the Garfield hotline. Talk to us.
Right.
Leave a voicemail.
What if you are flush with cash and want to give some of it away in exchange for other podcasts?
Like podcasts other than ours or other podcasts that we create?
No, other podcasts that we do.
Oh, okay. I got you. Patreon.com/BMFcast.
Yes.
BMFcast.
Right.
It does get confusing sometimes. You know,
Yeah,
we say
yeah.
BAMF, but there's really no A.
No.
Yeah.
It's just dumb to say BMFcast.
Yeah.
And just a general website for all of our business?
We don't have those.
Okay.
Yeah, we do. Yeah. Well, we don't have one generally for all of our business, but we do have one for the BMFcast, which is bmfcast.com.
Right. Everything we just mentioned you can find there.
Correct.
Links to all those things. Also, this week, if you want to search BMFcast on eBay, there are a bunch of charity auctions running. So movies from our past that we have decided, we don't ever need that again.
Those movies are declaring their independence from us at this fabulous 4th of July sale special.
Man, you're a salesman. So good. But yeah, go check those out. Cheap prices,
Yeah.
good stuff. Maybe you want to do a podcast and you want a pile of shit movies. Well, guess what? Movies that we have decided, we're not going to watch that, or movies where we're like, no one ever needs to see that again. Get it out of here. Are now full charity auctions. 100% of the sale goes to our charity.
And what charity is that right
I believe it is currently the ASPCA. So save them animals. Treat them
It
good.
is kitten season, so
It is kitten season.
Duck season.
Kitten season.
kitten season.
So save them cats. Buy a DVD.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
And we'll give you some BMFcast goodies to go with that. Some business cards.
One you can land or buy two that you can see. That's Independence Day.
Oh,
I'm going back to the Independence Day references.
Yeah. You're about 2.5 minutes late on that, but it's a good try.
Fine.
I'll make it work.
No, you won't.
Edit it together. No, you won't.
Don't bother.
Okay.
Don't bother.
All right.
Do not treat my jokes with such revere.
Fine. Son of a bitch.
Ha.
End this show.
Okay.
All right, let's quit horsing around.
All right. Let's get out of here. I am Harlow.
I'm BJ.
I'm Chuck.
And for Mackie, this is BMFcast out. Bye, motherfucker.
Happy birthday, America.
Happy birthday to me yesterday.
Happy birthday to BJ. More importantly,
Yeah.
this guy.
More important than America.
This guy's getting old like the rest of us.
I am. I'm not catching up somehow. I'm trying.
Well.
One day somebody's going to stop.
Yeah, you'll start catching up at one point.
Somebody's going to stop at some point.
I mean, y'all will catch up to me at some point.
Not necessarily.
Somebody's gonna make you want.
We might. BJ may never catch us. You may be the first to go. We don't know.
Oh, I could be.
Yeah. We don't know.
I do like to drive fast.
Yeah. I drove a fast car.
BJ drives a fast car.
What? Also, it's 9:30. What the
Holy
fuck?
shit.
You guys wanted to talk about Maniac a lot. I was just like, fuck, it doesn't make any sense. And then he's on fire.
No, I'm saying it's early. I'm not saying we talk
Oh,
forever. I'm saying we usually start the podcast right now.
Right.
How are we done? We are efficient. Look, we are professionals.
Yeah, that's what happens.
We
when
did not beat
Mackey's
the
not
sun.
here.
We did not beat the sun. Fuck the sun.
Fucking sun sucks.
Man, I got the chance to use that the other day. I fucking love it.
There's a girl I want to meet there. Okay.
You said you needed a haircut.
I'll give you a fucking haircut. You're mad they made you kill your father. Like they said, it was the only way.
Well, Internet.
The nighttime is the right time.
Yes, it is. It is
Yes.
the right time for us to leave and stop doing this here show.
Right. For the
I
night.
mean, not forever. Just
for the night. We're
Yeah.
We don't know. Time could run out.
No.
Someone might catch
Time
up
will
to
not
somebody.
run out.
Time keeps on slipping into the future.
Into the future.
True.
Bill, I'd put my money on Chuck if I was you.
I don't know. His enlarged heart means that he can pump blood much more efficiently than all the rest of us.
That means it's going to wear out fast.
But also, it's even odds. You don't want to bet on that. You wouldn't get much of a return. So, really, actually, it pays like 1 to 2. So,
Like, would you owe us money if you bet on it?
basically, if you bet $1, you're getting 50 cents. So, you shouldn't do that. Actually, I don't know which one of us would be the safe bet. So,
Mackey's. I think Mackey's most
healthiest?
likely. Yeah, he's the healthiest. He works out. None of the rest of us work out.
out.
Yeah,
Point of that.
I can only manage to do like
Girl, look at that body. I work out.
I can get like 3 months of working out and then I'm done for the year.
Well, sure, I can do about a week, and then I'm like, you know what? This is boring.
I'm gonna get fucking Marvel ripped. That's it. I'm gonna do it.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'm gonna do Marvel ripped. I'm just gonna come in here and just one day I'm just gonna fucking rip open this shirt and be like, fucking hire me, Marvel.
Okay,
Well, all right.
I look forward to that day.
That's going to be a weird podcast.
I'll know something's up when you wear a button-up shirt.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why?
Or like
you think I won't be buff enough to rip through a regular non-buttoned up shirt?
Well, if you're wearing like a Hulkamania shirt or something, be like, something's
Yeah.
up. What the hell?
No, man. I'm gonna walk in here in Kevlar and rip that shit off.
Okay, all right. So if you're wearing a button-up shirt or Kevlar
Yeah.
or a shirt that we
Or a
have
Hulkamania
never
shirt.
seen before,
Yeah.
yeah,
The one that says I heart Marvel that I ripped.
Yeah.
yeah, right.
Yeah. If you have a pre-ripped shirt or something where we're like,
just
you don't support that.
It
Right.
just says Excelsior.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. So.
Yeah.
I feel weird. We just should be saying, welcome to the BMFcast.
Yay,
It's the BMFcast.
BMFcast.
Let's do another.
All right. Welcome to BMFcast.
No, I'm done.
I'm Mackie.
I don't get paid for 2 podcasts in a day.
Yo,
Right.
paid for one podcast.
Exactly.
Yeah. My day.
We skied all downhill both ways.
Why don't you take us off the internet? Say goodbye to the internet.
Why are we playing back again?
What are you doing?
We're infinite justice.
Goodbye, internet.
Good night.
Have a good night, everybody.
Bye.
Stay safe.
Or don't.
Have a bitchin' summer.
Mm-hmm.
Have a